It has been a while since I played a PSP game, and I thought it would be a good idea to revisit one of the games I used to play many years ago, Rengoku. To be fair, I was so young that I had no idea what was happening, so I decided to give this game another try with my current video game knowledge and see how it goes, and it has been an interesting experience so far. Rengoku, the Tower of Purgatory, is a third-person shooter melee dungeon crawler where your objective is to climb floors of a tower that are randomly generated. You control a unit called ADAM or ADAM, and your objective is to find the purpose of your own creation floor by floor. Your ADAM unit is highly customizable as you can swap weapons and equipment on the legs, arms, head, and chest, which means you can create any combination of equipment to fit your needs. I prefer a combination of long-range strong weapons like missiles or the Gatling gun with some close combat swordplay. In the later levels, I found that it is way more enjoyable if you have long-range weapons that deal massive damage from afar and avoid completely melee combat unless it's absolutely necessary. Rengoku is not a bad game, especially when you put into perspective that it was released in 2006. If you do the math, that was a while ago. While the PSP has a golden library of fan favorites, it never really got a decent score. For example, if you take a look at the Metacritic page, it is not that good, honestly. But there is something about the game that is appealing to me, and this led me to give this game a chance after almost 2 decades. Perhaps it's the high customization of weaponry, or maybe the gameplay loop which is satisfying, or maybe it was the overall simplicity of the mechanics. It is by no means perfect, and my biggest criticism will have to be the crazy difficulty spikes. Of course, there's also some heavy hardcore grinding, but I can sometimes move past that. But before we dive deep into the problems, let me explain how the overall gameplay loop works. Each floor consists of rooms. Each room is initially locked and can only be unlocked by eliminating all the enemies inside. Once all rooms are unlocked, meaning when all enemies are defeated, the boss of that floor will be unlocked, and upon defeating this boss, it will unlock the next floor. This cycle continues until you clear all the floors the game has to offer. Initially, I expected a normal spike in difficulty, like each floor and room will have different and more challenging enemy types, and then it will keep increasing continuously. However, some rooms have some crazy spikes in difficulty and others do not, regardless of what floor you are currently in. These powerful enemies spam consistently their crazy weapons. For instance, the homing missile enemy spams them so much that the only thing you can do is try to evade and hope for the best. While evading gives you a frame of invincibility, there's also a limit on how much you can do that because you have some sort of stamina, gosh. This makes it tough because you have no idea how many missiles the enemy will spam, so you end up spamming the evasion animation in response and crossing your fingers that they will hopefully give you a chance to attack back. Sometimes, you will go into rooms with 2 or 3 enemies at the same time that have powerful weapons, making it almost a locked game to make it out alive. After a while, I discovered that in these rooms where there are multiple enemies, you can closely and carefully lure one of them before the other one notices and tactically plan to do 1v1s instead of fighting them as a group. This helped tremendously. On the other hand, I also understand how the spike of difficulty can be justified, since the game has a roguelike element, meaning if you die, you lose your current equipment. The game forces you to rerun previous floors to find better gear and level up your unit. You can level the endurance, the defense, models to attach on the extremities, and even to have more heat tolerance on the weaponry. After you understand what the game wants you to do, you also begin to notice that without putting crazy tough enemies and forcing you to grind hardcore, you can complete probably all the floors in less than an hour. But it forces you to grind so much that the gameplay will be extended all the way to 5 to 7 hours. I am personally not a fan of pointless excessive grinding, so it takes effort from my side to redo the same thing over and over again, hoping that you are appropriately powerful for your next floor. Regardless of this, Rengoku is a game you can enjoy and have fun even if you don't plan to complete it twice, which is required by the way if you want to see the true final ending. While I enjoy Rengoku, I still think the difficulty of the excessive grinding could have been less painful, but that is not stopping me from at some point trying the second entry that is titled Rengoku 2, The Stairway to Heaven. I have never played it, but I'm sure they fixed many of the problems of the first entry. I was also trying to look for information on what happened to the franchise, but the only thing that I could find is that a third game was planned for the PlayStation 3, but it was cancelled. Let me know what you think about Rengoku, and let me know if you like these short revisits to old school games. I had a ton of fun recording this video. Thank you.